Hello folks, welcome to another video. Hope this one does find you well and enjoying your simming. Really important that you enjoy flight simulation, folks. If you're not, go and do something else with your life. I mention this from time to time because it seems to me that there's quite a few people in our community that don't seem to enjoy this very much, based on what they share online. Fair bit of drama, isn't there, in this little community of ours from time to time? There's always been drama. Take it from someone who's been around for a while. Those of you that may be new to the hobby and you're wondering, geez, what's going on with this community? There's always been drama. But it seems to have kind of, I don't know, grown a bit, escalated a bit in recent times. As more people have got into the hobby, there's more, there's more drama queens, I reckon. But no drama here on the channel, folks. Not going to contribute to that. Well, the only drama is the way I fly, which can be quite a dramatic experience for my virtual packs and those of you that watch my videos from time to time. Things get interesting sometimes, don't they, here on the channel? But it's all good fun, folks. I'm here to escape and enjoy myself, and I hope that you get some enjoyment out of watching the content. What have I got for you today? Well, it's a video that doesn't feature the A350, which is a rarity in the last sort of 24 to 48 hours or so. Every man and his dog is flying that Inibuilds A350. I won't be doing so, at least not in the near term. That thing retails for about 120 bucks Aussie. That's a big chunk of coin for an old fella. It's a big chunk of coin that I'm not prepared to put down on an A350. But it might appear on the channel one day. What I might actually do is fly the other A350 that we have in X-Plane, the Flight Factor one, maligned as it is. I might bring it out of the hangar and give it a burl. Yeah, there is an alternative A350 over in X-Plane, in case you didn't realise. An aircraft that I have enjoyed in X-Plane 11. I have tried to fly it in X-Plane 12, but it didn't work. But that was a while ago. It might be worth another go. But folks, today we are in X-Plane, in case you hadn't noticed. And we are flying the gorgeous PC-12. Now this one, there's a few PC-12s available in X-Plane. Well, at least two that I'm aware of. There's the Coronado one, which was originally kind of built for X-Plane 10, I think, and then they did a version for X-Plane 11, and then sort of Coronado walked away from X-Plane. I have been flying the Coronado bird, originally developed for X-Plane 11, does work in X-Plane 12. You've just got to delete a file. I don't know that it flies as it should, but it works. I've tested it. But there's this one, which is a much more recent and I would argue better rendition. This is the Thranda PC-12, and this came to the market late 2024, so a few months ago now. And Thranda, great developer. Dan is the guy's name who leads Thranda. Great fella, been around the X-Plane community for a long time, and I've got quite a few of his aircraft, and this is the latest one. And this one's retailing. Well, it's retailing I think for about 44 or 45 US, which is a fair chunk of change, admittedly. But if you own the Coronado PC-12 for X-Plane 11, like I do, Dan very kindly gives you $10 off the price, so it comes down to 30, 34 or 35 US. Which is about, I don't know, 50, 52, 53 Aussie, which, yeah, it's still a bit, but I think it represents pretty reasonable value, particularly for me, someone who loves to fly the PC-12. I've flown PC-12s in X-Plane and FSX, P3D, the Microsoft Sims. I fly them a lot in FSEconomy, so I'm going to get pretty good value out of this. So this will be kind of a first impressions, I suppose. I have not flown this particular PC-12 before. So first impressions of the bird, and we'll take it on a bit of a leg stretcher. And that might be a good segue. A reminder that I do actually need to show you the flight plan. And here we are in Little Nav Map and Quelle Surprise, as the French would say. We are once again down under, folks. Best country in the world for mine, country called Australia. And we begin our journey in the best state, in the best country in the world, being Queensland. Hey, shout out to all my fellow Queenslanders. And we begin our journey in Queensland's capital, being Brisbane. This one here, down here in the southeast, host of the 2032 Summer Olympic Games, if it goes ahead. I mean, have a look at the state of the world, folks. We've got 7 years to 2032. Anything could happen. There's also some question marks as to whether Brisbane has the infrastructure or will have the infrastructure to support a successful Summer Olympic Games. Considerable doubt about that. But we're going to put that aside, folks, as we conduct this flight. We're not going to spend very much time in Brisbane at all. We're going to depart probably off 19 left towards the south, overhead the Brown Snake, known as the Brisbane River, and then kind of head south, southern suburbs, and down over sort of Beaudesert, Corralbin, crossing the border here. It's the border between Queensland and New South Wales. Continuing south towards Armidale, which is here. Shout out to you if you happen to hail from Armidale. Spent a couple of very enjoyable evenings in Armidale back in the day. Very cold evenings, as I recall. And then down to Scone, not Scone. Scone, not Scone. Then crossing the Wallamai National Park. Beautiful part of the world there. And then out into the Blue Mountains National Park, specifically overhead the town of Katoomba, or the waypoint of Kadom, home to the Three Sisters. And before, what's this one? Chalkers, NDB. I don't remember Chalkers. I did some flying down here. I don't remember that being an end. Okay, it is. And before arriving at our destination, which is Goulburn, folks, the airfield down to the south of the town itself, Goulburn. So a journey of about 482 miles. Take us a little bit over 2 hours or so on the PC-12. Gets along at a decent old clip. Yeah, it's a FSEconomy run. We're taking 5 packs from Brisbane down to Goulburn, just because that's what FSEconomy wants us to do. We'll make some virtual coin flying my own aeroplane. I own the PC-12, or a PC-12 here in FSEconomy, so yeah, it makes some good money for an old man. And yeah, en route, first impressions, look at the aircraft for what it's worth, folks. Let's do it. So welcome on board, folks. Welcome to the VC of the Thranda PC-12. The VC will look very familiar to you if you've flown a PC-12 in any of the other sims. One of the cool features about this PC-12 is that you can actually customize the panel. Now, I won't demonstrate that in this video just because playing around with it earlier today, crashed X-Plane a number of times. I got a Vulkan loss error whenever I was mucking around with this tablet thing, trying to muck around with the panel. What I have been able to do is replace the default GNS 530s that appear here, and I've been able to put in my Reality XP GTN 750s and 650 in there, right? So I managed to work out how to do that. But when I would bring the tablet up, this thing here, and try to muck around with Panel Editor, it resulted in several crashes in X-Plane. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. I'm not going to tempt fate again, folks. But what you can do, generally speaking, is that you can customize the look of the panel, which is a neat feature, as long as it doesn't crash X-Plane. Shall we have a look at the tablet now? I'm a little bit when I sort of move this tablet or pop this tablet out as a separate window, that tends to result in a crash. So just for reference, what I'm running here is the very latest release of X-Plane. So this is a public release now, version 12.1.4, and I'm running version 1.0.4 of the PC-12. Yeah, and I don't know whether there's an issue on my rig or there's something else going on, but I'm not going to tempt fate. You can pop this thing out by clicking this little arrow like that. I'm going to close it really quickly because when I leave it open and try and navigate, it crashes X-Plane. But this is the tablet, and I think it's pretty well done. I like it anyway. You've got some aircraft options here which you can control, like things like GPU, and there's two different types of engine mode. You need to read the documentation to understand that. I've switched it to realistic. By default, it was simplified. I actually want it to be realistic. All the doors are closed. You click this. Oh, hear the doors. Go outside. The doors are now open. All right, so just nice little toggle there for the doors. Jumping back inside now and coming back to the tablet. I'll get the doors all closed. You hear those. Yeah, getting rid of all the tie downs, getting rid of all the covers. You saw the aircraft sort of jump there a little bit. The brakes are on. Take those off. Steering, I want it to be realistic, and the pusher, I guess I want it to be realistic. I've turned the reflections off, and there's also an electric tug outside, so you can control that little thing, the electric tug, with your rudder pedals, which is kind of cool, but I'm not going to need it today. We're just sort of going to start up and sort of head out in that direction. We don't need the tug, so I'll get rid of that. So far so good, we haven't crashed X-Plane. Doing this. Weight and balance configuration, FSEconomy will override that anyway, but that's just to show you. It's a nice little feature. Yeah, some instrument options in there. You can pop up an autopilot sort of panel, which is this one here. Kind of cool. You can switch between different barrow units. The panel editor is here. I'm going to close it. Static liveries, you can do sort of real-time swapping between the liveries using the up and down like that. Boom, boom, boom. And then click apply to make it happen. Dynafield, which you'd have to read the documentation, but basically it's a way of configuring the feel of the aircraft the way you would prefer it. This is the default for me. This is how it came in. I was expecting everything to be 100%, but this is the default. So I'm going to just run with it because I don't really have a point of reference. We'll see how it feels anyway, but you can customize it. Your logbook, your X-Plane logbook, checklist for the aircraft, like we use checklists, the ground handling thing. Dynamic liveries, you can actually paint stuff yourself on the go, real time. You need to read the documentation around that. There is a catch, and it's to do with memory. But a flight computer, kind of cool, right? Basic, but cool. The equipment, you can change your character. So if I go outside, am I seeing myself? I'm not seeing anyone there. Can I do it this way? What does that do? I don't see myself. You can switch between male. That looks like Dan, right? Male and female. Male and female. But I don't actually see that reflected in this view. Maybe there's another setting to show the avatars. I don't know. Back inside. What else have we got here on the tablet? Equipment, and of course AviTab if you happen to have that installed, and most people flying X-Plane do. It's a separate plugin. Brightness control down here. You can get rid of this tablet, I think, by clicking that, and then you've got a nice clean VC. And yeah, it's done, done pretty well. I like it. There's the cabin. There's only get one sort of cabin, one variant of the PC-12, so it's kind of like the executive one. Obviously IRL, there's sort of a medical configuration as well, or a cargo configuration. That's not available here in the Thranda PC-12. But yeah, I'll get us started, folks. I won't make you sit through all of that. There are other videos out there available if you want to have a look at the cold and dark startup process. But just the first impressions, folks. You're seeing it as I'm seeing it. You're hearing it as it comes to my mind. I'll start it up and get on our way towards runway 19 left here at Brisbane. Alright, so engine start has been achieved, folks, and no, I'm not going to follow the lines. I'm going to make my way towards the runway in my own unique style. If you're looking for perfection and professional virtual aviation, folks, you're in the wrong place. But if you are here, and if you're listening to me say these words, thank you for your company, thank you for your support. This humble little channel doesn't get a lot of views, particularly lately. The views have absolutely crashed. I'm not publishing a lot of content, and well, people just don't really want to watch my stuff, and that's okay. Some people do, like yourself, if you're hearing these words, and I want to say thank you. I want to say that I want you to know that you are appreciated. Your support is appreciated. I don't make a lot of content. There are reasons for that, including health reasons that I won't go into, but I do my best, folks, and when I do publish a video, be assured that I've enjoyed myself, and I hope that you get some enjoyment out of it as well. In terms of how this aircraft is handling, it didn't take much to get us moving, and that's realistic. It's just a little different from other PC-12s that I've been flying, which require a little bit more to get moving. This one is was just bursting out of the gate. So I've got pretty low torque, down to three or so on the old torquey, and we're getting along at about 13 knots ground speed. We've got our flaps set. We haven't done our trims yet, but we will at the holding point. And we'll also take care of our lights and that sort of stuff. Looks like we're going to have a easterly breeze here, light easterly, blowing across us here in Brisbane this morning. Interesting weather happening off the Queensland coast as I film this one. There is a cyclone out in the Coral Sea. I think his name's Alfred, and I think he's a Category 4, so he's a decent size. Got a bit of punch behind him. Cyclones, of course, quite uncertain as to their exact track. Difficult to predict sometimes, but there is a model that has it crossing the coast well to the south, actually, here in Queensland, which is a little unusual. But time will tell. I hope everyone does stay safe, those of you that are inhabiting this part of the world. Now, we need to worry about a couple of things. One is our trim, so particularly rudder trim. Now let's see if we can bring that in. We need to sort of move it into the green zone, which is about there. 27 degrees this morning in Brisbane. So I filmed this according to our aircraft. So 26,000. We'll go that. Fuel pumps, they're green. That should be okay. We'll worry about the heading bug. So we've got flaps set. We'll get the oxygen on now. Why not? All the way, thanks. Want people to breathe fully. Flaps 15. Flight idle will come in. Our display 13 knots. 13 knots. Altitude reporting. Haven't been able to get the GTN 650 to work. Not sure why. This display. This is the Reality XP thing. The display is not as crisp as the ones in the Microsoft Sim. Alright, we'll move ourselves out. We're going to flight idle. There we go, an increase in torquey. Nice sounds in this aeroplane, a little different to the SimWorks Studios one, for example. It's not a competition. I'm not one to judge which sounds are more accurate, but I'm liking it. Landing lights can come on, strobies as well. We'll just get ourselves lined up here, 19 left. About there. Yeah, it's nice on the ground. We'll get our heading bug aligned, won't worry about the weather radar. Everything good? I think so. We'll just zoom out. The first waypoint is NCOG. That's cool. Alright. Flaps, trims, all the good stuff. Shall we do it? Let's introduce some juicies. Gently does it. Oh, listen to those sounds. Very nice. Oh, fantastic. I'm having a veritable eargasm here, folks. Beautiful. Okay, consider that power set. Tracking straight. Airspeed alive. Got the head bobbing. Oh, this is nice. We can rotate about there. Away we go. Nice little whistle as we departed. Gear up and all that. Oh, she wants to go. Beautiful. Crosswind increasing. Track back to the extended centre line here. Oh, beautiful. We'll get our flaps up nice and early. Safely away, folks. Here's a flyby, folks, because that's what all the cool X-Plane content creators do, hey? We're carrying a bit of crab there. We've got a decent old breeze up here, southeasterly, 23 knots. Well, it says 23 knots here on this display and 27 over there. Which one would I believe? Split the difference and call it 25. Everything going pretty bloody well. This aircraft's nice and stable. We need to increase that torque a bit though, champ. Our rate of climb has reduced. We've got to get up to 26. Let's do it. It's got to manage the ITT. So I do have the engine simulation on realistic, so I do have to actually pay attention to some of these numbers for a change. Plenty of juicy. So endurance at this point, at the current burn rate, which is quite high, is 2.5 hours. That's more than enough to get us there. That will improve as we get up to cruise and we get more efficient. Everything's going, yeah, really well. Apart from I can't get this to GTN to work. If you do know the secret to that, let me know, folks. It took me a while to kind of work out how to get this GTN available as well. But there was a post on the forum on the xplane.org in the Thranda sort of support area, which I used. You basically just got to select the right panel preset, yeah, that's the magic trick to doing that. But yeah, everything going really well. Enjoying being back in X-Plane. I've actually been probably flying more in X-Plane than the Microsoft Sims of late. Haven't been doing a lot of flying, admittedly, but yeah, I've been enjoying my time in X-Plane, flying a variety of aircraft, some of which I may feature in future videos. Time will tell. Anyway, folks, we're up through flight level 150. Everything going well, as I mentioned. I'll join you sometime during the cruise, and then there'll be an approach segment. We'll land at Goulburn. Well, that's the plan, to land at Goulburn. Famous last words here on the channel. And then the video will be done. And welcome to the cruise, folks. We're about 60 miles, or 61 miles to be precise, north of Armidale at this time. We have our crosswind, which was sort of blowing 25 knots from the east, has sort of turned into a southerly at 15. So we're fighting that, getting along the ground at 240, 245. So we're tazzing at about 260. Have I done the sums right? I think so. Plenty of endurance. Our fuel burn has reduced considerably. Utilities. Is it fuel planning? That one, point-to-point flight plan mode. So the leg is that one that we want. So fuel flow, we're down to 52 gallons an hour. This thing just sips the juice, hey? Fuel required to get to Goulburn is 70. We will have double that So we're going to have a reserve of well, 2.5 hours. It's pretty good. Our efficiency's pretty decent. We've got a range of almost 1,000 nautical miles on board at the moment. Total endurance of 4 hours according to this. Meanwhile, the aircraft itself is actually telling me the endurance is closer to 3 hours. And when you have a look at quantity on board, fuel flow per hour, that would seem to be more accurate. Why the discrepancy? I'll just put it down to a mystery of the universe, folks. There's probably a very logical explanation, but I'm too old and too tired to work it out. So what did we say earlier? Taz 260, bang. He's nailed it. He's got something right today. Everything going really well. Enjoying it. Really enjoying this experience. Definitely will get a lot of use. And as I was mentioning at the start of the video, value for money. You know, investing 50 Aussie in an aircraft like this that I will fly a lot is a lot easier mentally than investing, say, $120 on an A350 that I might only fly a couple of times or fly infrequently. So you know, the value proposition is up to you as an individual, folks. I'm not trying to sell you this aircraft or any aircraft. You earn your money, you spend it the way you choose. I just happen to share my thoughts. So yeah, enjoying it, and looking forward to a successful approach. It's sort of the departure there. It felt very light, so maybe I can play around with those dyno feel settings in the tablet to make it feel a little bit heavier. Maybe I'll give it a go. I'll have a play. I'm going to be flying this thing a lot, so I'll eventually get it dialed into how I want it to be. And I like that level of customization in an aeroplane. And it's those little features that stand out. And I'll tell you one thing that really stands out, and I've got to give credit to Mr. Thranda, our mate Dan, because I think he's a bit of an exception here as a developer. He's given a $10 discount, recognising that a whole bunch of people already own the Coronado PC-12 and are probably thinking, do I really need another PC-12? And he's offered $10 discount. I like that. And he's also priced it, I think, reasonably. You know, some people would argue otherwise, but again, coming back to that value proposition for me personally, it's yeah, I feel really good in having picked this one up. So folks, that's that'll be the end of this particular segment. I'll see you closer to our destination. We have got 317 nautical miles to run. There's quite a bit of flying ahead of me. I won't make it a long video for you though, but yeah, closer to our destination. Just a reminder to myself, that destination is Goulburn. Hello again, folks. This time from the cabin. Thought I'd take the opportunity to have a bit of a rest, kick back here, and enjoy the leg room that's afforded my virtual packs while Georgie's doing such a great job up front. Nicely modelled cabin, quite simple really. The shades work. Hey, there we go, look at that. It's a nice. The lights, the directional control adjusted individually, and of course the brightness etc. is adjusted via a console at the front. And yeah, it's a very nice place to be. X-plane default scenery, folks. It's not a. I don't fly an X-plane for the scenery. I know there are alternatives to the default, the ortho and auto ortho and the map enhancement and all that sort of stuff. I don't use any of that, or haven't. May explore it in a future video. May do. As I said, I don't come into X-plane for the Sunyu. Yeah, nice place to be. Just thought I'd take the opportunity to show you the cabin while I can. We are getting closer to our destination. It's funny how that works. 142 miles. So yeah, we'll think about Toddy kind of around about our next waypoint, which is Kadon, which is essentially Katoomba. We'll think about a descent into Goulburn. We'll check some weather, etc. Set ourselves up. We'll give ourselves a fighting chance of making a successful approach. This is a long flight, and long flights for me give me an opportunity to kind of reflect. And I often reflect on things absolutely unrelated to flight simulation. And what I'm about to share with you is no exception. It's a reflection on life. It's a reflection on loss. I got word through a couple of days ago that a person that I'd had some interactions with over the years had passed. She'd lost her battle with the big C, cancer. I think she was about 64, and fairly young, really. She battled it for many years, and she wasn't a friend or anything like that. We weren't close. The interactions that we had with each other were related to wildlife, funnily enough. She was a wildlife carer in the late stages of her life. She was many things during her life, some of which I'm only now finding out about, but she was a wildlife carer. That's how I knew her. Her name was Irene, and a bit of a legend in the area in which we live, and yeah, had opportunity to take some sick and injured wildlife to her for caring, for rehabilitation, and also for some palliative care. It's a difficult word for me to say. Palliative care, where many countless animals she gave comfort to in the last moments of their life. Very important duty, I feel, and just a good human being. The world is a lesser place for her passing. Sort of had me reflecting on losing good people like that too soon when they're so needed, and yet a lot of other people who seem not to have an ounce of good in their body live on and cause harm in the world. I think what I'll do, I'll dedicate this video to Irene. Just a good human. Alrighty, on descent, folks, down through 150. We have around about 50 miles to touchdown. We're going to fly a visual approach. We've got it plugged in to the GTN 750 here, the newly brightened GTN 750. Yeah, a visual approach down into runway 22. We're getting thrown around a little bit here, folks, which is kind of nice. The effect is quite realistic, but it's a little distracting when you zoom in on the displays. What was I going to say? We've got a visual approach plugged in, expecting to have a pretty strong northwesterly blowing, so expecting to have a crosswind of up to 15 knots, which could present a challenge for the old fella. We'll see how we go. There is a shorter strip at Goulburn, which is probably more aligned into the breeze, but it's a bloody short strip, and I actually am looking forward to a bit of a challenge here. I want to see how this aircraft feels during a crosswind, because I've really had some troubles in the other sim with the SimWorks Studios PC-12 and crosswinds. So yeah, basically looking forward to the challenge. Is how I could have summarised up the last 60 seconds of speech. I'll see you for the concluding stages, folks. Wish me luck. Alrighty, concluding stages, folks. We're about 8.5 miles from touchdown. We've set ourselves up here on a long final to runway 22 at Goulburn. Got ourselves slowed down nicely. We've got ourselves at about the right altitude-ish. We've got ourselves slowed down well and truly. I began that descent a little earlier than perhaps I should have, but I wanted to give myself time to get us down and slow us down. We've got a decision height of 200 plugged in. Now it's a beautiful day here at Goulburn. This is not hardly instrument conditions. We're not flying an instrument approach. We're flying an improvised visual, as we so often do here on the channel. We're seeing the virtual glide path come in. I say virtual glide path because it's not an instrument approach. It's just some vertical guidance. 3,700, 6 miles to run. Squint hard and you'll see the strip out there, folks. Goulburn. Not much else around, lots of paddocks. The town itself is up here. So far so good. Just wanted to hand fly from a fair way out to give myself an opportunity to feel. I did have a bit of a play with the Dynafeel settings, and I think I've got it about right, but it will only really be put to the test close to the ground, I think. Anyway, so far so good. We're slightly under the glide slope by the looks of it. Happy with the speed. 4 miles to run. We'll take first stage of flap in gear at about 3 miles. Keep our speed up. Looking for an approach of about 80, 85 in the PC-12. The scenery is a bit ordinary out here, eh? Buildings are a bit sparse. Then again, that could be realistic in terms of the building density. We'll take first stage of flap and take gear. That flap sound stays in all the way. Flap extension takes a while in this PC-12 compared to others. It's almost instantaneous in the other one. Well, a few little stutters starting to creep in. Performance has held up really well until now. And to 110 knots. Now we're getting a little bit high on it. Get that breeze out of the northwest or southwest. Okay. There's still going to be a crosswind. We've got our trim set. 100 knots. We'll land flaps 30, I think. No need for the stolly bit. There's flaps 30. Retrim. Down to about 85. Final checklist. Flaps set. Geared down. Fingers crossed. And our sphincter is taut. Feels really nice to hand fly. A little bit more juicy, mate. Wind strength decreasing. Will be a crosswind. It's about 85 knots. Happy with that sight picture at the moment. Retrimming. Thank you. That's my decision height. Or maybe just a girl whistling at how she finds me attractive. Again, must be that. Folks, runway 22 Goulburn. And we're on into beta. I'll take that, folks. Folks, thank you for your company in another flight. It is very much appreciated. We'll just kind of backtrack. Actually, we might backtrack or head towards the shed via the other strip here, eh? Here we go. They won't mind. Whoa! Stay on the strip, mate. Stay on the strip. Yeah, folks, as I was saying, thank you for your company in in another video and on another flight. Your support is very much appreciated. This has been I guess a first impressions look at the Thranda PC-12. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. Really looking forward to flying this some more. I might take it across the Dutch and visit some of my airfields over in New Zealand, my FSEconomy fields. But until we next meet, folks, you stay well, enjoy your simming, and bye for now.